And we are live. Happy Friday. Welcome to the IT Hour. We're back and we're already halfway through October, if you can believe it. Well into Q4 for those of you who follow the calendar year. Sarhat, welcome back. Glad to have you. Uh,
Great to be here, Ricky.
yeah, 19 episodes ago, I remember because we were celebrating our 100th episode with you and Mustafa. So glad you are here again. How's it going? You've been
We are
busy.
doing well, actually. Yeah, we've been busy. I mean, we are on GA, so at least we hit a mark. So it's a great I will say milestone for us, for our team. So we are looking forward to doing a lot more, but we are really happy that we hit that mark.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we've got a lot of folks joining us. People are trickling in. The notice goes out right as we hit live, so we usually give people a couple of moments. I see a few familiar faces and names in the chat here. I see Alan and Cleomar were a couple of the first folks to jump in and be waiting and already asking questions and saying things in the chat. And Rob and Mark and Kelly and Stuart as some of our usual suspects in there. Let's see. So Dan, Jacob, Julian, Mitch, Chevros, Jan, Matt, Joe, Sukajit, Ivan. So welcome, y'all. Thanks for coming. And I know we'll have more trickle in as the notices go out. Thank you for coming today. You see, we've got people waving madly, and Rob's like, wait, what? What did I do? I heard my name. So thank you all for joining. Hello, Kelly. We've got lots of great things in store, and Cleomar is already asking some great questions in the chat there. So I'm going to make sure that I mark a couple of these as questions so we can get back to those. And yes, we are marking these so that we can make sure that we answer all of them. First off, some of the usual things we go through on the agenda, talk a little bit about updates in the community, and we will talk about SaaS management. We've got some topics around that, like JCU and things like that. And then, of course, if we have time, we will talk about all the interesting things in the news. CISA has been at it again. They have a lot of updates that we will talk about. And of course, happy Cybersecurity Month again. We talked a lot last week about security topics. And let's see, first week was use strong passwords and a password manager. Last week, turn on multi-factor authentication. And this week, recognize and report phishing. We just recently had one of those, tests of our abilities to notice those things. So stay aware, friends. All right. So let's see. In our MSP discussions, if you're an MSP, make sure you check out that board. We try to keep up to date on topics there. Our friend of the show, Sean Blanton, not Song. Sean Song always does a lot of scripts. Blanton, or Blantron, as he goes by, has made a post in there talking about Cybersecurity Awareness Month, talking about things relative to MSPs and what y'all are doing and staying aware of during this auspicious security month. So go check that out. Captain IT in the script repo is asking about how to run a command every time Macs go to sleep, and to run the script on sleep mode or wake up mode or login. So if you can help with that, please go make a comment there. And then in the software hardware discussion board, Daljit wants to know about installing wallpaper or screensavers on a MacBook. Don't forget, we have our usual, I'm sure it will come up sometime. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste it in preemptively because at some point on the show, someone's going to say something about a feature they would like to see. And I'm going to say, wow, that sounds like a good feature request. And I'm going to paste that in there. So there it is in the chat already, feature request. And make sure that you go ahead and go over and add those when you get a chance. We always have a flurry on Fridays. I wonder why. Also, let me grab a link to our podcast because we just had a new episode come out this week, and it is directly related to Cybersecurity Awareness Month. We talk about those themes of the month, and I had a really great conversation with a colleague of mine, Heather Holliday. She's a VP at JP Chase Morgan, and we had a great conversation. It was a lot of fun, and she's awesome and knows a lot. So there we go. All right. Lots of great stuff this week. Serhat, anything that you're doing this weekend? I know it's late there for you, so it's already Friday night. You're already pulling a late night. So
unfortunately, helping kid sick. My kid got a little bit sick, so I need to take care of her. So it's still fun for me. So
well, we're glad you're taking a break with us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear about the sick kid, and I hope
everything
she
is done.
feels better.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, we are going to. I like that Kelly says she's waiting for me to change my profile name to the URL for the feature request. I somewhere have a URL with that. I think I have to load somewhere. I used to have a template loaded, and I think I'm gonna have to go back and add those at some point because I used to have a whole template loaded where I could just plop those across screen. So I will have to go back and do that. So I can easily throw those up on screen and you can see them. With that, I'm going to just go ahead and hand it over to you and let you share wonderful things about SaaS management.
All right. Thanks a lot, Becky. So, guys, I know Becky is gonna shoot me with questions, so keep them coming in question and answers questions and answers section. So I can already see some great ones. I'm gonna take like 15 to at most 20 minutes. I don't want to take too long, and I have just a few slides. I want to just show you guys a quick demo as well. And then I have answers to probably all of your questions. I'm the guy for SaaS management for now, though it's good news that we have a new product manager for SaaS management as well. So you will have, we became a lot more scalable. If you wanna, get a personal demo, if you have questions, always reach out to me or your account manager. It's great. I love talking with you guys. I mean, it's great feedback for us. We have a lot to do. So I'm not just saying this up. I mean, we have a lot to do, so we need to prioritize. So your feedback really helps us at this point. So it's just, SaaS management is still a brand new product, and we just recently launched. So this is really great and important for us. So let me share my screen. So here you go. We tested this, so it should work fine. Yep. Okay. So I know many of you, and we are getting great feedback. I mean, already. So I know probably some of you, not many of you, but some of you are using SaaS management and have questions. That is great. And if you haven't used it, or if you just saw maybe the banner in the admin console, or just saw the ITR news or the Shadow IT webinar that is coming with a customer, right, in a week, you may be new to SaaS management. So I wanna go over some of the basics and show you guys how it looks like within the product. And then even if you are not using it, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me, right? So I'm happy to answer all of your questions. So I'm the director of product or SaaS management. I joined JumpCloud 6 months ago through Resmo acquisition. I was co-founder and CEO of Resmo before. So we are doing SaaS management, and we are going to do something also very exciting for you guys, like AK asset management. We are starting to think about that as well. I know a lot of you are waiting for it. So we are working on some really cool stuff. So SaaS management. This is you can use it right now. So it's great because all I talk about is not just talk. So it's actually something that you can use right now. So I know you feel the pain, right? I mean, there are a lot of SaaS solutions. Basically, we run our business on SaaS these days, right? Every business software that we use, they are on SaaS, and it's really hard. I mean, if not impossible, if the companies, as the company gets bigger, especially, right? I mean, mid-sized companies, they have a really hard time keeping track of all these SaaS applications you use across the company. And the increase in SaaS applications, number of SaaS apps used in the company is amazing, and possibly is pretty much probably 100% accurate that you probably have no idea the number of apps that are used. Even if you think you don't know the exact number. So every now and then there's a new AI app popping up. It's if you want to make sure that you at least have an eye on these things, it's getting harder and harder. So and just it's funny that at Resmo we were a pretty small company, and even we like 15 people, and even we used I think close to 40 SaaS applications to run our company. They say, I cannot wrap my head around on this. And when I talk with customers, it's and by the way, I like one by one I went through all of these applications, and they have a use. Like I cannot just turn them off. We are actually using those tools, right? So and what I hear is, again, like around 100 people company, right? It gets to close to 100 SaaS applications, 80 SaaS applications. And it's very normal. So it's really hard to keep track of all of these and make sure you have an active list of all the accounts. You get visibility into what's really happening within these SaaS environments, right? So this is really what we saw with SaaS management. And the JumpCloud mantra is we want to allow you guys to have frictionless access to any resource, and that doesn't just cover, we cannot just cover SSO connected applications. SSO is still the most central piece that we have to actually secure access to these critical SaaS apps. The problem is there will be applications that are used by really a small number of people that you may not be aware of, or there will be apps that would try to charge you 10 times more for just SSO. That's called SSO attacks, I'm sure right? So all of these reasons, it makes it impossible to connect all of your tools to SSO. So you need visibility to all of these applications. You need to have a way to monitor not just SSO but beyond SSO, all the applications, SaaS applications used in the company. That's what we are enabling with the new SaaS management solution, right? So this is how we define SaaS management. We help your teams to discover shadow applications and accounts, and we help you centralize all these SaaS applications in one place, both SSO connected. You connect them to JumpCloud SSO. We get that as well in SaaS management. But if someone signs up to any SaaS application, we get that too. So every SaaS application, the end goal is you can see them in SaaS management in JumpCloud. So that's the goal. And then we give you guys tools to secure access to these SaaS applications and get visibility into the usage. Like, are you paying more than you should, right? I mean, these are really hard questions to answer. And we are helping you with those questions. So I'm going to make you them. I don't want to just talk. So, and then I'm going to show you a sneak peek of what is coming before. It's going to be a rolled out thing. So version 2, I would say. And I'm going to share you guys what's coming next, so you can get excited, right? So SaaS management. So I've seen a question, I saw a question on JumpCloud Go. So yes, right now SaaS management requires JumpCloud Go. So the way that we do discovery. So what we do is basically just going a little bit back, right? Shadow IT discovery. So what we are doing is we are actively looking for applications that people are using, and we are using that right now, and that's called Shadow IT, right? We are using that through the browser extension. So if you have the JumpCloud Go browser extension, then Jump Cloud Go, if you are using also Jump Cloud Go, then we are able to like seamlessly, really track your SaaS applications usage across the company. If someone signs up or someone logs in, to a SaaS solution, we would capture that information, the account information as well. I will show you and expose that to you guys. So, and I really want to answer, because this is really on point. So why SaaS management requires Jump Cloud Go? So there was a reason, and so the reason was two reasons really. So it is really fast. It was really fast for us. One reason, right? I mean, because Jump Cloud Go already exists in many of our customers, environments. So we just reuse that, and all those customers, they already use Jump Cloud Go. They just enable SaaS management, and it just works. So they don't really need to do anything. It's very seamless for them. And obviously, Jump Cloud Go is an amazing product, right? So we want to combine the power of two, right? So that's one of the reasons as well. And what the problem with that is, those we know there are some customers that are not actively using some of our solutions, right? So they use many of things, but they may not use SSO, they may not use device management, they may not use Jump Cloud Go for some reason, and we want them to use all of this, but obviously we don't want to force, right? I mean, you want to use SaaS management, you should be able to use. So the good news is, SaaS management will not require using Jump Cloud Go very soon. So that's something that we are working on. And the distinction here is, if you use Jump Cloud Go, all the authentication, right? So we need to recognize who the user is on the extension to be able to do these things. So if you use Jump Cloud Go, using SaaS management is seamless, really seamless. I mean, you just enable it and it works. If you don't use Jump Cloud Go, what you will be able to do is you will still be able to deploy the extension, Jump Cloud Go extension. Without using Go, you will be able to use SaaS management. The problem is we are finalizing some of these, but it's not as seamless as Jump Cloud Go, but it will still work. It will still be able to track Shadow IT. It will still be able to work. So we will not be depending on Jump Cloud Go. We will just be using the extension. So that's a good news for those who cannot use Go for now. But again, just if you don't have any strong reason, talk to your teams and use Go. That's amazing. I mean, I love it since I joined Jump Cloud. Like it's really makes it easy for me to, log into solutions. Look very seamless, just with the finger button, right? And also it's security, right? I mean, it helps you with phishing resistance and all that. So again, if you cannot use Go, you will not have to use Go, but you will be able to use the extension. So that's good news, and that is coming before the end of this year for sure. So that's I can give you a date as well on this. And but right now, again, if you use Go, it's great, and it just works with Go, right? So the browser extension is there. It's just if you enable a SaaS management, starts looking for SaaS applications, and we look for business applications, and let's say we discover an application, right? So what happens is we want you guys to categorize these applications. So when we first time discover an application, we put that in the newly discovered bucket. So then we ask you guys to categorize it and assign an owner to this application, right? So we got feedback again. Like I will take my time here. So we got your feedback that this is great. Like I want to assign an owner because I want to get an alert, and alerts something that we are already looking into. I know that's also part of the feedback, but we got the feedback that can we also assign a group here, really, because this application belongs to my marketing team, and some of you want to just assign these applications to groups, and we are currently evaluating that and seeing if we can make it part of version 2. But that's definitely part of our current thinking, and as we get a lot of feedback on this already. So and then we ask you to categorize this, right? So approved, unapproved, or ignored. And there was a question about unapproved. I will take that very soon. So approved means that's an approved application in the company. Employees are allowed to use this. Unapproved, you don't want people to use this application. Ignored means I don't really care to track this application, right? So and let's say and when you want to categorize, and one of the things that you want to obviously take a look is you get an overview of this application. You get at least some enough information so that you can check this application if you first time see this, and you want to see who is using this application and with which account. So here we expose that information to you, right? So here Burak, for example, signed up to Iterable with username and password login method with using 2 different accounts. So he used 2 different accounts. That's why you see him twice here. So what we do is we are able to catch these accounts email address or username, when someone signs up to a solution, and that's it. Like, we don't do anything around passwords. That's an important nuance. Like, so what we care about is give you guys enough information about like who is using these, and is it really a company account? What is it really? I mean, so one thing is, and some companies, especially around Europe, and they have laws, right? So they want to only monitor company email address logins and signups. So we have a settings available within SaaS management for you guys to change that, and you can say, I want to only track logins and signups SaaS apps if that's from this specific email address, right? So if you say this, and if you save, I will not say right now, but we won't be catching that example.com or gmail.com email address, right? So that gives you enough control over what to catch and what not to catch, so that you can focus on what you really want to do here. So, and also privacy laws and all that, right? So if you want to be if you are concerned about that, so we give you guys some flexibility over there, and then you categorize that. And so the next thing is, for all the approved applications, right? So what we do is, and once we discover an account, we keep track of like, are they really visiting those SaaS apps? So we record those on a daily basis. We don't, record like minute by minute. We are not a performance tracking solution. That's not our goal, right? So what our goal is really give you guys enough visibility around, how people and, how frequent people are accessing these SaaS applications, so that you can drive, use case. You can drive decisions like, are they really utilizing these SaaS licenses? Are they really, am I paying, for nothing? Like, these are really, hard questions to answer. So as a start, what we are doing is we are giving you guys enough data to make some decisions around this, like informed decisions around, SaaS applications usage. So you can export this data and, use this data right now, import into an Excel sheet or, Google Sheets, whatever. So use that. What we want to do, we want to have a report already. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's common sense, right? So we want to have a usage report. We want to have a couple of other reports very soon. That's our goal, but it will take a little bit more time. But we want to give you guys deeper insights on the usage here, not just raw data. We want to give you guys insights on, this is how many licenses, and you can already track those manually. But, let's say you have 50 licenses and, only, let's say 30 people are using it. Like, right, you want to compare them, you want to get better visibility and like out of the box report on who are the people who are not really using these applications, but they have a license, right? So we want to give you deeper visibility. This is a great start. We have heard that like this is enough to get started, but we want to do a lot more here. So and you can track licenses so that you can track renewals, and we want to automate some of these things as well, get the cost information. But I'm sure you're aware that getting the cost information reliably for all these SaaS apps is nearly impossible job. And what we want to do is we are gonna, I'm gonna talk about version 2. So we are gonna have some additional capabilities that will help us get this information automatically for some of the like really critical and complex SaaS solutions very soon. So I'm gonna take a pause. Becky, do we have any questions so far? Like, I'm gonna take the one about the unapproved apps very soon after this one. So
That was the one I was looking at right now was, if it's unapproved, can you
oh yeah.
block the user?
So let's does it block the user to use? So yes, I mean, I'm gonna answer that one, and I'm gonna answer the one that we had, right? So we had one where, like, do I need to, like, if I unapprove an application, does it get automatically blocked like everyone? Am I blocking all these SaaS apps automatically? So I'm gonna walk you through that. You will get the answer. So I saw one like, how far does the usage log go back in time?
Yeah.
That's right now. That's right now 3 months, similar to DI events. So if you have any other requirements, needs, let us know. Like, right. So
And then there
is there
was,
another?
will there be the ability to have exception approved users for blocked apps?
Okay, so let me talk about the unapproved, and I will come back to this because this is relevant to like probably like top feature requests that we have. So I'm going to talk about that, what we plan to do right now, what we are doing. So let's do, so we talked about approved apps. Let's talk about unapproved apps, right? So approved apps, you track their licenses usage, the accounts that people are using and all that. So unapproved applications, these are applications that you don't want people to use, right? So, let's say this is an application, all right? So by default, and you can see it in the settings, for the unapproved applications, we just get you guys visibility. Meaning, if you don't change anything, any settings here, you will be able to see that people are using these apps, right? But they will not see anything, right? They will not get blocked. They will not get a warning. It's just for you guys to see by default. But we do have a great functionality for the unapproved applications. So we can actually, as long as we have the browser extension, obviously, we can show a warning to the employees, like to the end users, whatever you want to show, whatever you want to share with them. Let's say there is an AI app, that people are using, and you want to show them your AI policy. If you are using that AI application, they need to be careful. That's a very common thing, right? Everyone wants that. And maybe there is an application that is a compliance risk for you guys, right? So maybe it's a free tool. Unless you are paying it, you are worried that they're going to use your data if people keep using it for free. And you don't want to pay for it for some reason. Maybe you have an alternative application, right? So we have a warning and blocking functionality on the browser for unapproved applications. So by default, we don't do anything, take no action, right? So you can optionally show a warning as a default option as well. So if you don't change this, it's just take no action. And you can individually per application change the settings, under the applications, review section I will show you, but you can also change the default. Again, if you are not sure, just leave it as take no action, and you can do it per application as the applications come. So, and you can also change the default messaging. If you want to add your, email address, like if you have any questions, send an email at it@JumpCloud, whatever it is, right? So you can change these default text as well. So let me go back to unapproved apps. So let's say here, what I do is, if I edit application details, again, access restriction section, if you select unapproved, it shows up here. So by default, it's take no action. And if you say, I want to show a warning, again, if you save this, we will just use the default text for this application alone and show a warning. And if you want to override this message specifically for this, SaaS app, you can write whatever you want here. Maybe you have a special context that you want to share with the end users, right? So if you want to make it dismissible, you can do it. If you want to recommend an alternative application or a resource that they can go, like maybe JumpCloud Console, right? You want to redirect them to the console, and for some reason, right? So you can do all of these things, and you can also you can also block the page. It's pretty much an HTML overlay. So meaning, what we are not doing is really, we are not cutting access at the network level. That's not what we do. We are giving them enough information so that they can actually take informed, decisions when they are using these applications. This is right now really hard if you don't have a solution like this, right? Because otherwise, usually what companies does, right? They do have a static text. They expect people to just, remember or look at that, Confluence page or Google Doc when they sign up to a solution or when they use an application. That's really impossible. They just want to get, their work done. It's really impossible for them to remember all of these things. So you can help them guide, with this new functionality. So, I'm going to show you how it looks like. And again, like this is just an example, so you can definitely use PlanetScale. I love them. For example, let's say for some reason you don't want you are using maybe on, let's say, development environment, but you want to use redirect them to your AWS, Google, whatever account it is, right? So you can show them a warning. Just remind them that if you are doing this action, and it's if it's a production thing, just use AWS, whatever it is, right? So you can help them make the right decision. If you are using ChatGPT, right? I mean, just make sure that you follow our AI guideline, put a link on the warning, and redirect them to your Confluence page, Google Docs, whatever it is. So, and if you want to block the application, what you can do is you can also block it, right? I mean, this is a bit excessive, obviously, compared to the other one. But the idea is, if something is a compliance risk, if something is a security risk, obviously you have to do. Sometimes you have to take these actions, and we give you guys the flexibility, able to take these actions. So this is on approved apps. Yeah.
Quick question, because I got a question yesterday about this related to even just people using the web version of an app, not even downloading it. So looking at that, that looks like just the web version of something. So you're able to block that, not just them using the app itself, is what it's appearing to be.
That's correct. I mean, so as long as the browser extension is there, if it's an application that is accessed through the browser, there are exceptions, right? Like Figma, Slack, a few others usually people use with the application. So what we want to do with those is we have plans, but most applications, they're accessed through the browser. So we have like 99% coverage with this one, but I know there are some apps that you want to track usage as well, right? I mean, we track usage through browser. So it's more of a like, usually people use Slack, Figma, whatever. So they are more they are more worried that we are not getting the usage data for those apps than blocking those apps. So the usage data also, like, we have plans, but yeah, I mean, right now it's just through the browser. So and again, it's 99% of SaaS apps, right? Really. So
Right. So if they're authenticating through the browser, even if they're using the app, but they're authenticating through the browser, then you would most likely catch it.
Yeah, we will be able to block and catch, and we will be able to catch it. The usage is an exception though, because, and again, like, there are ways for us to do that because we have an agent, right? But again, we have some other priorities, but we want to get to that point. So that's definitely on our list.
Okay. Benjamin had one related to this about the ability to have exceptions.
Yep. Hey, Benjamin.
For users for blocked apps.
Yeah. Hi, Benjamin. So always great feedback, right? So this is relevant to getting a little bit more flexibility when you warn or block an application, right? So we get, I don't know, more than 10 feature requests for this, similar to this. People want to block an application for a specific user group, but for another group they want to show a warning, for another group they want to do nothing, right? So they want to get a little bit more flexibility for when they block applications, when they show a warning. And there was another one as well, which I really love, right? They want to be able to show a warning for all the AI apps. I don't want to just specifically go ahead and, as we discover apps, I don't want to specifically go ahead and, individually show a warning and put my AI text, and link for those apps. I want to actually just say, just show this warning for all the AI app category, right? So if it's an AI, application, if it's an AI category, then just do it. And this is similar to that one, right? So getting more flexibility, having an exception for approved users, for, let's say, for these users, don't block any applications type of logic. So what we are right now evaluating, and if you have any feedback, guys, I know you are like Jump Cloud power users, so your feedback really stands out for us. So we are evaluating, should we actually do this like, ourselves as within SaaS management, for example, giving you guys some ways to block for certain groups or based on category and just do that? Or should we actually integrate with CAP, like conditional access policies, and give you guys more telemetry, more events, more data to, tie to warning and blocking functionality of SaaS management, and combine, those roles together and get you guys a lot of flexibility. So it's, a lot of flexibility for us means obviously a lot of work versus, so we need to make a decision. So your feedback really is important for us. So obviously we are working on this right now. This is part of our first work of version 3. Sorry, not version 2. Version 2 is already started. So version 3, this is a really common request. So we are already thinking about this. If you have any feedback, you can reach out to me. You can also, I'm like all the time in our Slack community as well. So if there is any question, if I'm not responding to you guys very fast, probably I'm asking someone for help. So I'm there all the time. So let's see. Also would be fantastic for showing warning to users to request properly licensed accounts through IT instead of setting up free ones by themselves. So, okay, this is great feedback. Thank you so much. And we get other feedback as well, right? I mean, we have licenses. Sometimes people want to manually assign a license to a user account that we discover so that they can track if that account has a license or not. This is like very hard to get automatically. So even if they are doing it manually, that's enough for many people. So that's what we learned from you guys. So that's something right now also we are evaluating. So this is great feedback. Thank you. I think this is pretty much it right now. And I want to, like, in terms of demo, before going through the questions, I want to show you guys what is in scope for our version 2 and give you some of the timelines, right? So this is first time I'm sharing with the community this, right? So we are working on the first thing, right? Similar to the group like based flexibility, right? Manually adding SaaS applications before we discover an application. So because you already have a list of SaaS apps that and you already have apps that you want to block, and you don't want us to discover so that you can set up blocking functionality, or you can enter renewal information, you can enter cost information, right? So you don't want to wait, and that's understandable. So what we are doing is we are like very soon, I mean, this is like the first thing we are working on, probably less than a month, that is coming, and we are gonna give you guys the ability to add applications manually, either selected, and if it shows up again, it's in our catalog that we discover it, and then it shows up, you just select it and you can edit. And if it's a new app maybe, or if it's not in our catalog, we will edit, but then it's not it's an application that we don't recognize. So then you will be able to add the application's name and the domain address of this application name. Then we will be able to also warn, block, or even track accounts like for those apps, even if we don't recognize those apps. So that's going to open up a lot of flexibility, right? So one thing that we don't want to do right now, like we want to get a little bit more feedback, right? So some folks, they want to block, social media apps, right? So what we care about here is, business applications right now. But they have those use cases, right? They have just that one use case that they want to solve. We have it here. So they want to still get some flexibility. So what we are doing is we are not catching social media logins, but if you add here, whatever the social media app that you want to show a warning, whatever it is, right? It could be WhatsApp, it could be whatever it is, right? So you will be able to add the app's name and the domain addresses of those apps, like where they log in, and then you will still be able to show warning and blocking. So again, we are not gonna do it by default, but we will give you guys some flexibility if you want to do it, right? So these are things that, like, we are really focusing on business apps. That's our priority. And right now we are monitoring all these things. We are giving you enough flexibility to cover these additional use cases as well. So this is coming very soon. This is very exciting for me because, again, this is like a repeated feedback that I hear. So the other one is, we already talked about SaaS management is going to work without Jump Cloud Go. And that means SSO dependency as well. If you are only using our device management and some other things, right, and then you will be able to use SaaS management too. And the other one is, the extension is great, but what we already know from RESMO, also from talking with you guys, that you want to also get deeper insights from these SaaS apps. So what we are introducing is directly connecting with SaaS applications, right? So we are working on Google Workspace, for example, as a start. So we are gonna have a Google Workspace connector. The timeline is gonna stretch a bit compared to the other two, but around New Year, I would say. And if you want to get early access on this, let me know. We are going to have an early access for connectors. So the connector stuff, Google Workspace, GitHub, Slack, Enter ID, Atlassian. So we are as a start, we are going to integrate with those. Adobe, like I heard about this all the time, right? You have Photoshop, whatever, so it's installed. So you want to still track that, but again, you cannot do it through the browser. So you will be able to connect directly to those SaaS apps within SaaS management, so that you get all the accounts very fast, right? You get all these additional information, like permissions that people have, like is this person an admin, right? If you send SSO connected app already in Jump Cloud, right, these things are easier. We just get it automatically. But if it's not, then you will be able to do those things. And one additional exception, which we are really excited about, is Google Workspace and Enter ID connectors. They don't just give us the account information. They also give us the applications that people log in or sign up using Google login or Microsoft login, right? So social login is very, very easy. People just, don't, they use username and password if they have to, but usually they just log in with Google. And if they log in with Google, what you would do is like you would connect Google Workspace to SaaS management. We will be able to automatically look at historically as well, right? So this is great. So historically as well. So we will be able to discover all these apps that people signed up with Google, SaaS apps, obviously. So show you guys, these are the apps that people have. These are the permissions, Google permissions that they gave when they sign up to these applications. So we are going to do a lot more, but this is a great start because this gives you guys, without the extension also, right, historically a lot of data very fast, gives you guys a lot of value very fast. So we are really excited about this. We are working on this already, but it's going to take a little bit more time compared to others. But again, if you're interested, let me know. Once this is here, I can give you guys early access. And again, early next year, you can expect to see connectors. So this is version 2. I already talked too much. I'm able to answer all of your questions.
Yeah, I do see some. Give me just a second. Kelly says adding sign in with Google monitoring is going to be very cool. And then Stuart says, I don't like it. I love it. There were a couple of more questions that we kind of held on to, and one of them was early on from Kelly about if oh no, that was related to GemCloud Go, which we kind of answered with the extension. What I really meant to throw up there was around MSPs. And so is there a view for MSPs that shows SaaS management across all tenants?
Okay, so I start having a lot more MSP conversations thanks to Chris, and I'm involved in a lot more in the upcoming weeks. So, and we want to do a lot more on the MSP side. We are starting to be more vocal about SaaS management, how it can help MSPs. And what I see is we don't really need to do that. You guys are already, aware that you need a solution like this, talking to your clients, right? So customers. So definitely we want to have a dashboard in our MSP dashboard, and show you guys, these are the tenants, these are the discovered apps. Like even if as a start, like for you guys to see, these, overview that we have in SaaS management across all your tenants in a single page, right? So it's just going to take a little bit more time. And because of these new features coming up that we need to prioritize, and we want to have 2 other things next year, right? So the first one is alerting. We want to alert you guys on like critical things here, because people are signing up to a solution for an unapproved app. Right now, we don't send you guys an alert. That's something that we want to do very soon. So that is one. And reports, right? So alerting and reporting, that's a priority for us early next year. Once we have those, and maybe we don't wait, but we want to have a dashboard, an MSP dashboard. So we will evaluate. Like if we get a ton of requests, we may prioritize it. But again, due to like other like functionality that we need to include in SaaS management, it's going to take a little bit more time, but definitely on our radar. Suba also is pushing me hard on this, right? So definitely I'm aware and I love it. So thank you.
Perfect. We've already got a hand raise for that EA. Thanks, James. And okay, so Nick had a question about, will I be able to export the raw data to something like Grafana for reporting, or possibly have an API integration?
Okay, this is a great question, right? So, and we have heard about this a few times, like ability to add applications, right? So that's a good start. But people told us, and we have a few MSPs also. I heard them this as well, right? So they have a list of apps that they want to add here, but they don't want to do it manually. They want to just use an API and just put all of those like 200 apps that they already know, as part of their SaaS stack. So the other one is we have all the accounts they want to report, or they want to maybe do some alerting on this data. So, and I'm going to just share the reasoning here. So the connectors coming up, as connectors mature a bit, we want to have an API integration. The connectors is changing our accounting structure, like how we capture accounts. The more detail we are going to expose to you guys with connectors, because connectors mean like if you have a connector, we will be able to catch the same data from the extension and from the connector as well at the same time. So now it's getting a little bit more complicated, like in terms of the data that we keep and that we expose. So once we have more, like say, I would say, maturity on the accounting structure, and connectors again is going to change a few things, and we want to have an API. We are just waiting for that to just work on the proper API and do those things. And in terms of just directly integrating with Grafana for reporting, that's not a short-term thing for sure for me. Like, but yeah, I mean, if you have a very valid reason, I'm happy to hear more, and we can have a feature request as well.
Yep, I'm just reminding feature request in the chat. And for those who are saying something in the chat about early access, how would you like them to reach out and request that? We could have them post in the SaaS management channel in Slack, or
yeah, that works. That always works. But the better way is usually they should reach out to their account executives. We have an internal list, and they would usually add directly their names to that list, so that once the time comes, I will just enable their access. That's easier. Otherwise, I need to add them to the Excel sheet and all that, so it takes a little bit more time, and sometimes I miss, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it's better if they reach out to their CSM or account executive so that they can add them to the list. That's easier. But if they're comfortable with Slack, I'm okay with that as well. So Becky, you are muted, so I cannot hear you.
I'm happy to help with that too, because I've had people ask me to add them. So either working with their CSM or AM or whatever. I mean, because I add people to sheets like that all the time. So if you want to ping me in Slack or something, I'm more than happy to help. But if you're already, happen to be reaching out to your account person, then please do that. But any of us are willing to help you. We want to make sure that we get you enabled as easily as possible.
Yep.
And then one last one from Benjamin again would also be fantastic for showing warning to users to request properly licensed. Oh, I think we already talked about that one. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why that's popping up again. It just is coming up in the things listed as questions, but there we go. Let's see what we have. Yeah, Benjamin, I don't know why it was coming up in the list of questions to show on screen. It just, as I was reading it, I'm like, oh, wait, we already talked about that. So one more thing about SaaS management. We have a new course in Jump Cloud University on SaaS management, and Ella had asked me to share that today. So I'm putting that in the chat. You can go take that. There's no charge for courses like that. So if you want to get a good overview of SaaS management, you are welcome to go enroll in that and see what it's about. But we are
and really, I want to add my 2 cents here, right? So I did work on that a little bit, but the team has done an amazing job. And it's not just SaaS management, guys. I mean, if you want to learn the use cases around Shadow IT, get some overall, not just our product, but also SaaS management as a whole, as a product, not just as a product, but as an area, right? So if you want to get deeper in that, we have, I think the course also covers that really nicely. So like SaaS Sprawl, Shadow IT, the reasons, the use cases, and all that. So we have those two.
Oh, and speaking of that, I'm going to put a link to our Shadow IT Make Work Happen episode, which, by the way, the person we interviewed for that was a referral from Sarhat. So it was a really good episode. We enjoyed that a lot. And so if you want to talk a little bit more about Shadow IT, go check that out as well. It was a really good conversation. Enjoyed it quite a bit. So thank you for referring Ed to us. It was a lovely conversation. Yeah. And so we've got all kinds of things like that going on around resources to help you. And speaking of that, back to that Jump Cloud University course, we not only have the that course, we have a bunch of guided simulations in Jump Cloud University to give you an overview over all kinds of different things that we have available in the product: software management, conditional access, devices, password manager, federation, and we also have end user guided simulations. So if you want to look at some of those for your end users and send them some, quick things to help them learn more about the product and how to do certain things that they need to, you can look through those and send them some things like MFA WebAuth login, Windows MFA login, things like that, Windows password reset, all kinds of them. Our university team has worked so hard on those, and there are lots of great things in there. We still have a couple of minutes left, and I wanted to call out, our IT news as we always do. There are like over a half a dozen CISA things out this week. I know we just had a bunch last week, but they've done more industrial control systems advisories. They've added known exploited vulnerability to the catalog, quarterly critical patch update advisory for October. They've released a joint guidance with the FBI on product security bad practices, and they're asking for public comment. And then CISA, FBI, NSA, and international partners release an advisory on Iranian cyber actors targeting critical infrastructure organizations using brute force. There's a guidance on framing software component transparency, and they add 3 known exploited vulnerabilities to the catalog. Lots going on. So if you're not already following the CISA site, please make sure you do. Mandiant has analyzed 138 exploited vulnerabilities that were disclosed in 2023, and 70% of those exploited flaws were 0 days. And the reason this is important is in 2021 and 2022, the average time to exploit was 32 days. And in 2023, the average time to exploit dropped down to 5 days. So that has dropped so much that instead of it taking, just a few days to leverage, these are being discovered and exploited before the vendors knew of the existence or had even had a chance to patch them. So I will be linking, these in the show notes as usual. There's a great graphic that shows this and how many of those have come up as 0 days. So make sure you're following things like this. Make sure you're aware that there is a fake Google Meet conference error that is pushing info stealing malware. So it's a click fix campaign, and it's luring users to fraudulent Google Meet conference pages, showing fake connectivity errors that if they click on it, it will deliver malware for Windows and Mac OS operating systems. They also have some graphics showing what that looks like, so people can be aware not to click on them. So you can share some of those out with your users. And here's a fun one. Microsoft warns it lost some security logs for customers for a month. Now, Microsoft is warning enterprise customers about this. It was a bug that caused critical logs to be partially lost, putting at risk companies that rely on this data to detect unauthorized activity. It was reported by Business Insider earlier this month. And Microsoft began notifying customers that their logging data had not been consistently collected between September 2nd and September 19th, but for some issues, it was continuing until October 3rd. So the services that were impacted were Entra, Azure Logic, Azure Healthcare APIs, Sentinel, Azure Monitor, Trusted Signing, Virtual Desktop, Power Platform. So if you are using any of those, you might want to check it out, because although Microsoft said that they had informed all of the customers with that, the reporting entity said that they had found a few customers that had not been informed about that. So always stay vigilant. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of scrolling. Hang on. 32 CFR is final this week regarding CMMC, federalregister.gov. Oh, yeah. So thank you for sharing that, even though it's a super long URL. Thank you for sharing that, Ken. I appreciate that. What is fun and interesting is the FTC is finally making it easier to cancel things like your gym membership. This click to cancel rule will stop companies from making you take extra unnecessary steps to cancel a subscription. So they've got this click to cancel rule. Most of the provisions will go into effect 180 days after it's published in the Federal Register. Under the rule, businesses can't force customers to cancel a subscription using a method different from how they signed up. So if you signed up for a subscription with an online form, they can't require you to call them or chat with a live agent to cancel. And they will also require businesses to clearly disclose the terms of their subscriptions and get customer consent before charging them. So maybe that will help. Earlier this year, the agency sued Adobe for offering deceiving subscriptions that are hard to cancel. And they also sued Amazon over claims it tricked people into signing up for Prime and slammed Microsoft's recent changes to its Xbox Game Pass subscription. So won't that be nice to maybe have some of that changed? Because I know I've had trouble canceling some things here and there that, you sign up, you get a 30-day trial, and then instead of it ending there, like they automatically renew you for month to month or even like a whole year. And then you have to do about 10 different things. Click here, do this, do that, chat, call, sell your firstborn in order to cancel. Kelly, I don't know if Comcast falls under that, but I do have a link to that, and there was a whole PDF of the full thing in the register for all of those rules. Rob says, y'all see where Planet Fitness's stock plummeted after the FTC announced that easy cancel law? Maybe they are one of those ones that earn a lot of money from vampire fees, you could say. So it's definitely worth seeing what happens there. And with that, we are right at the this stopping point. Rob says, and yes, since you can sign up online only, are they going to be required to also allow canceling via online only? They are supposed to, Rob. However you sign up, it was saying that you are supposed to be allowed to cancel that way as well. So you sign up online, you're supposed to be able to cancel online. You should not be required to call or chat via an agent. It should be as easy as doing what you did to sign up. So that would be nice, because I don't always want to talk to somebody. and have to ask 4 different people to cancel, because I've had to do that with certain services. So we shall see how well that does, or how long it takes before they're required to comply. So, it'll take 180 days before all the rules go into place, but then it'll be another 180 days, like the end of next year, before they will actually have to comply. So, yes, FCC is also targeting data caps. I saw something in one of the headlines I was looking at as well, so that no throttling, which would be quite nice, and we'll see where that one goes as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Oh, by the way, don't forget, next Friday, the 25th, it is our annual Halloween episode, Spooky, Scary IT Stories. We're going to have prizes for the best stories. Bring your tech tales of terror, and be thinking about what has happened in the last year that terrified you and you wish not to happen again. And let's see what fun stories you have. So make sure you join us, tell your friends, spread the word about the prizes. We've got some good ones. Yes, we'll be giving away, well, sort of cash. I mean, they are gift cards, and you can either get a Visa or a MasterCard, whichever one of those they have in our store, or you can choose, something like a grocery card, or, one of the online stores, and spend it however you want. So we hope to see you then. And as always, thanks for joining us, Serhat. Thanks for telling us all about SaaS management and sharing all the great things that are there and are to come.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care.
See you, everyone.